Welcome back to Carolina This Week. We're honored to have former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich as our guest this morning. We're talking about the current state of the economy with the new Republican House taking office now. You mentioned on your website again the three vital areas that require urgent attention of the House Republicans: creating jobs, repealing Obamacare, and rethinking failing systems. We've talked a little bit about creating jobs and that importance, but repealing Obamacare would be a very tough thing to do because of the Senate. Is it possible to repeal it?
Look, I think it's a very tough thing to do. At the Center for Health Transformation, we're just releasing our third major chart. And this is a new 50-square-foot chart for your wall that shows you the 1,949 powers given to the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Earlier, we released a 50-square-foot chart that showed all the deadlines for the federal government between now and 2021. And before that, we released a smaller chart, only 18 square feet, which showed you the 159 new offices created by Obamacare. When you look at all this mess and you ask yourself, do you really believe a Washington bureaucrat with 1,969 new grants of authority is the right place to try to fix health care? I think the average American is going to say no. Now, in the Senate, there are 23 Democrats who are up for re-election in 2012. We have a project called NoMoreObamacare.com, where we've gotten over 100,000 people already signing petitions to end Obamacare. We're going to really drive in these 23 states to build a petition drive to ask the senator to vote to repeal. Then Obama's going to be faced with a real choice. If repeal does get to his desk, what does he do with it? And finally, I believe every Republican presidential candidate is going to be, for the presidency, is going to be committed to repealing Obamacare, so that even if he fights it off for right now, if he ends up being a one-term president, it'll get repealed in 2013.
I was in Columbia this morning speaking with a lot of our local politicians, and it seems what's happening on a state level mirrors what's happening on the federal level. Republicans don't want to cut taxes and want to create new revenue streams. Many Democrats, not all Democrats, want to raise a capital gains tax or do some type of tax increase to get new revenue. Where do you believe the answer lies for the federal government, for the state government? Is it possible to raise taxes? Should you raise taxes?
I mean, first of all,
it is possible, but should you?
I was going to say, first of all, the state of Illinois just did, and it's going to have a catastrophic effect on employment. I mean, the governors of Wisconsin and Michigan and Indiana have to all be sort of going, boy, this is great, you know, ship us some more jobs. We are in a worldwide competition with China, India, and Germany. We have to get this country back to work again. That requires very profound reforms, but in the process, raising taxes is economically suicidal because it kills jobs in the U.S. It makes it easier to create a job in China or India or Germany rather than here. I would say the same thing to states. I'd be very careful if I was a state before I raise any taxes. We don't have a problem of undertaxing. We have a problem of overspending. And I think you look at these large bureaucracies, you look at how inefficient they are, how backwards they are, you look at how much they cost that's unnecessary. I think what the country wants is, whether the state legislature, the governor, the House, the Senate, or the president, they want people to go in there who are going to be frugal and who are going to have the courage to cut spending and reduce the cost of government, not to raise taxes and reduce the amount of money left to families.
That brings us to a point where you talk about rethinking failing systems. And I thought the interesting thing you brought up was unemployment compensation. Do away with it.
Well, what I suggest is that we replace it with a training program. So right now, we have a program that pays people to do nothing. Last year, the federal and state governments combined paid $134 billion. This is a 2009 number. $134 billion for doing nothing. Now, what I suggested is, let's turn that into a mandatory training program. If you need the money, you'll get the money, but you sign up, you take an aptitude test online, you match up with a business that wants to hire somebody, you take a training program online, so you're learning the skill to take the job. Now we've turned what was $134 billion wasted dollars into $134 billion human capital investment program that leads us to have better trained, better qualified workers, be more competitive in the world market. That's the kind of fundamental change we need to make.
Do you think that would have a chance of ever happening?
Yes, I think it will happen. I mean, I don't think the American people are stupid. But let me give you a second example that I ran into that is so amazing. Dr. Atala, who's now at Wake Forest, is a specialist in growing organs. Takes a piece of your kidney to grow a kidney, a piece of. So in 1999, when he was at Harvard, under a Food and Drug Administration academic provision, he grew 7 bladders for children who had a particular problem that was very dangerous. He implanted all 7, cost $50,000. That's $7,000 per bladder. All 7, by the way, are alive today. I just got a note from him this morning. So this is 12 years later. Then they decided this was good enough technology. Let's transfer it to the commercial world. So you can apply it, you can manufacture it. People can get in the habit of solving a whole range of problems where your bladder is in trouble. The next 16 bladders cost $100 million. So you go from $7,000 a piece at the university to $6.5 million per bladder, because it turns out the Food and Drug Administration rules are so hostile to developing new things that they make it artificially expensive. Now, I give you that example because if you took something like kidneys, kidney dialysis is $27 billion a year. If we could infuse you with new kidney cells from your own kidney, take a sample, grow it out, put it back in, we could reduce most of the kidney dialysis in America. That's both a better quality of life for human beings, because you can go to work, you can be active, whereas if you have dialysis 3 days a week, you're totally exhausted. Second, you would save the federal government 2/3 of the total cost of the National Institutes of Health just by getting rid of kidney dialysis. Now, I'm giving you these examples because I think we're at a point in time where we have to have brand new approaches that have brand new solutions if we're going to be successful.
We're going to take another quick break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with former U.S. Speaker Newt Gingrich.